Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name's Chris and it's fantastic to have you back with us for another video. And in today's video, we're going to have a look at Cardano ADA. Now, if you were watching on the 31st of May, you will know that I sold pretty much all of my ADA. Now, the comments were really interesting. Some people thought I was way overconfident. People thought I was reckless. People thought I was spot on. And ultimately, everybody's got an opinion, and that is fine. But, you know, it does interest me. And I want to just mention one thing, right? Like, if I seem really confident about something and I make a video on it, damn well listen, because I'm very risk averse. And if you've been watching this channel for a long time, you would know that I'm risk averse, right? I'm already back into ADA, although I still think the prices are going to go lower than when I purchased. But we're going to dig into that. We're going to dig into the reasons why I'm buying ADA and why it's, you know, pretty much the bulk of my portfolio at the moment. It's a very high percentage of my portfolio. So we're going to dig into the reasons why I think this is a solid project and it definitely deserves the airtime, and we're digging to the reasons why. If you enjoy this sort of content, you know, you want to support the channel, 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗏 has requested that we beg you to mash up that like button. Let's see if we can get 1,000 likes for 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗏. He will really appreciate it. I will really appreciate it. Nick and the rest of the whole cheeky community will really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, subscribe, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video. I saw this comment and it made me think I best clear this up. I am not the office cleaner at Cheeky Crypto. I am one of the founders, and I'd be a very wealthy cleaner if you know, that was the case. Let's sort of get into the details, right? And this is the video that I was referring to at the start of this particular video, obviously published on the 31st. I made my sell on the 31st of May. Now, do jump into our Discord. Links are in the description. It's free to join. There's over 3,500 people talking about crypto 24/7. You know, but our Patreon members get to know basically what we sell for as we do it. Same with purchases. They get to know what we buy, when we buy it, and for how much, right? So if that's of interest, check out the link in the description. But, you know, I do want to sort of cover some of the comments here, right? And, you know, again, just quite surprising the level of confidence. And I really do want to kind of say that if we're confident and we're making videos, then, like I say, listen, because ultimately we take this stuff very seriously. We want people to be successful. We certainly don't want people to fail. And all the metrics were leading us to believe very strongly that we were going for lower prices. So, you know, let's have a look and see whether we were right or whether we were wrong, right? So here we go. The last month. So, right, I sold pretty much about here, right? So it wasn't quite the top, but it was damn well close. I mean, it might have actually been a little bit higher than this. It was between 64 and 66 cent, right? And I'd have to go back through the Patreon links to see the actual price, but it was around about there, right? Now, not being funny, but we dropped down to 54. Yes, we had a bit of a resurgence, but, you know, we've gone down as low as, where are we? 44 cent 12, right? So I think the call to sell up here, when you've got thousands upon thousands of ADA, I've increased my portfolio, my ADA portfolio anyway, by over 20%. I think it was about between 25 and 30%, right? Like, so I bring out the pixelated glasses, right? It has to be done. Jokes aside, though, I think this was a pretty good call. Ultimately, I still think we've got lower prices. So again, I'm not encouraging anybody to go purchasing now, but, you know, I'm risk averse. So we might not see the lower prices that everybody's expecting. And I think, you know, I always err on the side of caution, and ultimately that's what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to regret it. I've got a huge percentage growth over the last 3 weeks in my ADA portfolio. So I'm very comfortable with the ADA that I hold. It's at about 38% of my portfolio, which is far too high now. So instead of getting rid of some as it starts to go up, I really do believe in this project. And I said that when I was making the I'm selling ADA video. I really do believe that this project is amazing, is going to do really, really well. And, you know, I love a lot of the projects that are building on Cardano as well, right? It's got to be said. So I'm not going to get rid of any ADA. I'm probably not going to be purchasing any more unless it comes down to really silly prices. And I think, yeah, you know what, I could do with a bit more of that. But I am going to be increasing other altcoin positions that I have in my portfolio, right? So expect some I bought X videos to be coming out over the coming days and weeks, right? Because bear markets and bear cycles and crypto winters are where generational level wealth is made, right? This is about being switched on. This is about, you know, listening and watching podcasts and YouTube videos and reading up on white papers and projects. And, you know, we do a write-up a day in our Patreon on all these different projects. You can even request them and I'll do a write-up on it. You know, we have a fantastic team of technical analysis, you know, people in our Discord that are willing to support people with trying to find the right prices to buy in and so forth, right? Obviously, none of it's financial advice. It's just our opinion. But, you know, utilizing tools like Elliott Wave theory, technical analysis has to be done to maximize your buying opportunities, in my opinion. But, you know, bear markets, bear cycles, crypto winters, this is where you need to be heavily engaged, right? This is where we need to keep teams accountable to their roadmaps. You know, they've got to have their dates in there, and, you know, we've got to watch them like hawks, right? Because funding isn't always going to be available in these sorts of times, right? People are very flamboyant with their money when everything's, you know, at the moon sort of prices, right? But they're not like that in a bear market for anybody that, you know, hasn't been in one before. So, you know, I think fantastic call, if I do say so myself, and I am going to call it out because of the comments that we saw there. The things that I really like about Cardano and ADA, and the reason why I think that it's going to do really well, just a few metrics, right? So a tweet here, good news, nearly 80% of Cardano Coinbase transactions are on the buy side. Now, don't get me wrong, that's, you know, probably like over a day, over a 7-day period, whatever, and it can change at any point. But ultimately, I think this is positive data to be seeing, and it lines up with some of the stuff that we've seen here. So Cardano gains 2 billion inflows in the last 24 hours despite market sell-off. What I think this indicates is Cardano has a really big community, very strong community, and it's growing, right? And I think the other thing that we need to consider as well is that a lot of institutional money is going into Cardano and ADA, particularly at these prices. I do think that, you know, it's a good buying opportunity, but that's just my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not encouraging anybody to make any purchases of ADA. I am encouraging you to go do your research on it. I think that would be time well spent. There is no substitute for making, I guess, your own investment decisions from doing your own research, right? So anytime anyone tries to tell you Ethereum is the most decentralized proof of stake network, you know, on Beacon Chain, show them this chart. It's simply an outright lie. No two ways about it. It's false. That's ignoring the fact that that the merge doesn't even have a date yet. And again, I think this is something, again, just to highlight, again, just a breakdown. I think, you know, Cardano is probably the most decentralized. I think there's far less risk with, you know, VCs dumping on retail investors and all that sort of stuff that happens on many other projects. So again, another sort of piece of data that I really do like. The other reason why I am really keen on Cardano is because of this man, right? The founder, Charles Hoskinson. As much as IOHK have promised us an interview and have basically just, you know, ditched us and not actually followed through on their side of the commitment when we agreed to sponsor the London event for Cardano. You know, I still really like this project, right? And one of the reasons is Charles. I mean, he is one of the co-founders of Ethereum. And the things that I like about Charles, and don't get me wrong, there's things that I don't like about what how Charles operates, particularly always focusing on the negative. I mean, we've been doing Cardano videos for feels like a lifetime, and he doesn't follow us yet. He has never made a comment. We've been promised an interview and we've never had one, but he focuses a lot on the negative rather than the positives. And there's some fantastic people outside of us. I'm not talking about us, I'm talking about others that never get called out, like for the fantastic truths that they put out about Cardano with all the falsified information that's out there, right? Rather than focusing on the bad and giving these people airtime, really would really like to see him focus on the positive side of the community and the people actually putting out the content that is more factually accurate, and stuff like that, which is just my only gripe with Charles. But the things that I do like, and the reason why I also think Cardano is going to do really well, is he does videos regularly on YouTube, keeping the community up to date. I think this is fantastic that he does this. I think it's great to hear from Charles and everything that's going on with Cardano. I love the fact that he's introducing a lot of the team onto the channel and that side of things. I think all of this stuff is great. And again, I think it's going to lead to much bigger success. I really do. The events that they go to, all that sort of stuff, how engaging that Charles and the team are with the community, I think is really, really important. And it's something that we see let us down with many other projects, and I'm not going to go mention names, I just upset people. But again, really like that. Just talking about, I guess, the consensus protocol proven to be secure through academic peer-reviewed papers and research, right? So again, another reason why I really like Cardano, because they're slow and steady. They're not rushing it to market. We see protocols rush to market all the time. I mean, look at Solana and the kill switch and the amount of downtime it's had. You don't see that from projects like VeChain, Cardano, Polkadot. Correct me if you think I'm wrong on any of this, but I haven't seen any of that. So for me, the peer-reviewed side of things, I think, is really, really important. Projects building on Cardano, I think, again, you've got a variety of different projects that are building on Cardano. Don't get me wrong, until the next upgrade, which is the end of this month, so it's in like 11 days or so, we will be expecting more and more projects to onboard onto the Cardano ecosystem. I'm really excited about like the metaverse, the identification side of things, the DeFi side of things, as well as the gaming. I just think there's so much that Cardano is going to bring to the table. And I think over time we're going to see this progression. And I think banking the unbanked. I can't get my words out today. These are going to be the things that I think are not just reasons to get into a project, but I think they are, I guess, a byproduct of people wanting to make money in the space. And I think Cardano is going to be the kings of DeFi. I think that they're also going to have a lot to say when it comes to artificial intelligence. And you're seeing this with like Singularity Net, Singularity DAO, NuNet, for example, just to list a few projects that are sort of integrating AI and that are moving from Ethereum onto the Cardano ecosystem. And I think we're going to see more of this over time, projects porting over from Ethereum to Cardano. I mean, let's be really, really honest. I'm not expecting to see, I guess, the gas fees massively reduced. Even with ETH 2.0, I think the fees are pretty much going to be the fees as they are. And I think there's a lot of misinformation that's being spread out stating that the gas fees are going to be massively reduced. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are in the comments about that. But ultimately, I think for that very reason, businesses are going to port over to projects that are technically more superior, and set up for people to be able, or developers to be able to write more secure code rather than the ability to unknowingly write an unsecure code, which is more likely to happen on the Ethereum network than it is the Cardano network. Again, just another reason why I think Cardano is a fantastic project, and that's why it has such a high percentage in my portfolio. So total value locked is currently at $104 million, down 9.59%. MinSwap has the largest dominance at 44.47%. Now, you know, if we go back, we've had 323.18 million total value locked. So actually we've seen probably one of the least pullbacks for total value locked on Cardano, and I think that's a metric that perhaps gets missed an awful lot. It's dropped by maybe a third. Whereas a lot of other total value locked statistics would show between 80 and 90% drop on other protocols. So again, just another metric that I'm aware of and I like to see, because I do think we're going to have an influx of projects joining the Cardano ecosystem. Stake is down, you know, a little bit. So we were as high as 72.11. We dropped as low as 71. I can't get my cursor here. 71.58, 1% drop. I would also add that there's quite a few liquidity pools that have opened on different projects. So, you know, some of that may have moved for more lucrative rewards. Just an assumption, but, you know, it's an assumption that should be made. It doesn't necessarily mean it's right. The average blockchain load is at about 50%, which is great. So, you know, it's not going to have congestion on the actual ecosystem. So again, I think that's great. Native tokens on the up, adjusted volume is pretty steady, and all of these things, you know, make me inclined to believe that Cardano is a fantastic investment, particularly at these prices and lower. And ultimately, I think it's life-changing opportunities here if you can get yourself a decent bag of Cardano ADA. But obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not suggesting that you go purchase any. But what I am suggesting that you do is to go research the project and see whether it resonates with you, right? Because not every project resonates with each individual, right? And there's lots of, and I'm going to use the word FUD as much as I don't like it. There is lots of misinformation, FUD, out there in the space surrounding Cardano and various other projects. So, you know, there's no substitute for doing your own research, right? There'll be other influencers that will say, you know, things about Cardano that don't line up to what I say. And for that very reason, you should go do your research. For me, I think I've articulated quite well that, you know, my sell all my ADA video on the 31st of May was a fantastic decision. I've increased my portfolio between 25 and 30% on Cardano for that section of my portfolio. And ultimately, it's at about 38% of my entire portfolio now. And again, I've got about 38% in stables at the moment as well. So, you know, hopefully this video was useful, informative, educational, all that sort of wonderful stuff. If you enjoyed the content and it was supportive in any way, mash up that like button. We really do appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.